Thanks for joining us on Chapel Rewind today. Our guest in chapel is Palmer Chinchen. He's the lead pastor at the Grove in Chandler.
Right.
So this has been a long time coming for us to have you back in chapel. It was a few years ago when you started with us down in the South Gym,
Yes.
and then when we first started meeting in the arena. So tell us a little bit about what it was like for you today.
Well, it's a little bit different than the gym you were in before. I'm thrilled to see your turnout in students for chapel. I mean, you don't see that at hardly any other universities in the country. So I'm shocked in the best of ways. Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about what's going on at the Grove.
Well, at the Grove, we just finished our new worship space, but I've been doing a series on our DNA at the Grove, and we've been talking about what sets us apart, what we're most about. We've been talking about how we are a missional church. We live on mission. We've been talking about how we want to be a center for the arts and promote creativity and the artist, because the church of past generations has shunned them. So we've been talking about, I mean, there's just a lot that's been happening recently, yeah.
So GCU, part of our DNA as a Christian community is service.
Yeah.
We launched a couple weeks ago a big project in the surrounding neighborhoods with Habitat for Humanity, and we've been doing Serve the City projects every semester for years. So service is a real big component to what we're trying to develop here within the culture of the student body, and I know that hits close to home for you. Right. I want you to talk about the project that you're so passionate about called the Barefoot Tribe Initiative, if you would.
Yeah, so I've been writing and speaking about this idea of almost living like a tribe more than a church, because when we bring together the resources and the ability and the thinking of so many of God's people, we can make real change. We can end the extreme poverty. We can stop the spread of pandemics like AIDS or Ebola. We really can, or malaria. We can stop the sex trade. And so I write about becoming modern day abolitionists. But as individuals, we can't do much, but when you have the power of your tribe at GCU, you can make incredible change. And it starts locally, it starts in our backyard. The things we do globally as followers of Christ are only legitimate if we're first doing them where God has put us. And for example, in Chandler, we live in a city with a lot of immigrants. And so our first mission is to love the immigrants as Christ would love the immigrants. So that's where our ministry starts. We call it Live Love, and I love hearing that you're doing something similar here at GCU.
So your background is very unique. You grew up on foreign soil for the most part.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about where you grew up and what that was like.
Okay, so this morning I talked about growing up in Liberia in the Sino rainforest in the Sapo jungle. I grew up with the Sapo tribe, and we lived in a bamboo mat house. I talked about how my first pet was a chimpanzee named Tarzan. But then I noticed something about the tribal people of Liberia, that they collaborate. When a man is going to build a house, he'll remind others, say, one man cannot lift a house. If one man tries to make enough mud bricks, it'll take him months. But if the tribe comes together, they'll do it in a day. When they're going somewhere at night, Liberians say, carry me halfway. Because nobody wants to walk alone in the jungle, and the tribe is one. And then I talked this morning about how the tribe empathizes and the tribe shares. And all of those values now I'm trying to say that Jesus called us to live this way. So let's come together as a tribe of people with a common passion, and we can make real change in the most desperate places in this world. And I talked about like Thailand, Haiti, Malawi, Liberia today.
Well, obviously you come by this passion honestly. Having that kind of a background, it was seated in your heart many years ago, and your walk with God in Jesus Christ has contributed to that exponentially. So tell us a little bit more about what you're trying to press on this morning in chapel.
So this morning I left the students with one simple start. First of all, I want them to understand that every one of us can make a difference in things that are not right in this world. But I said one practical step is take off your shoes. On Thursday, your women's basketball coach, Trent May, has asked us to have a Barefoot Thursday. because I've been holding Barefoot Sundays all over the country, and we ask people to take off their shoes and spend the rest of the day barefoot so they can empathize with how 1.3 billion people live every day. And so I love that Coach May wants to do that at the basketball game this week, and so we ask students to all come back with their friends, their whole dorm, bring piles of shoes, and leave here on Thursday after the game barefoot. Just as a small statement that we all have something we can share. There's something we can do that makes a difference.
Well, thank you for being here this morning. It was a great challenge to the students and faculty and staff that were here in chapel. Thanks for sharing today.
Tim, it's great to be here, and God is doing something special and unique here, and thank you for giving leadership to that time today.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us on Chapel Rewind. We'll see you next week.